great, man.
Good.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, no problem. How are the wife and kids?
They're awesome. Recently had a Super Bowl party, and it was a bunch of girls who cared nothing about the game, and they only wanted to see what the halftime show was going to be. So I was deeply and utterly alone, if not for my dog. But, other than that, we're doing good.
Good. Matthew Joseph West,
Yes.
are you ready to enter the Tower of Truth?
Yep. Bum, bum, bum. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
No, I'm saying I did pretty good. Not you.
It was pretty good.
I did good.
I had to
You
bring
just
up the
did,
tower.
all you did was take that off. I put a lot of effort into that.
Okay, so this is how it works. Each number corresponds to a question
Yeah.
on the clipboard. The higher the number, the deeper the question. So you get to choose how deep you want to go. Go for it. I'll let you go first.
Let me see here. You're not making this easy, are you? So is it okay to like touch?
Yeah, you can test a few. That's fine.
Man, that was harder than I thought. Number 6.
All right, so go ahead and put that on the top there.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Number
All right.
6.
This or that question, so real easy. Call or text?
Oh,
Call or
definitely
text?
call. I think text. I mean, I do both, but I think in today's world, we rely too much on text, and there's no substitute for like actually talking to someone and understanding like their tone of voice. I mean, I'm sure you've had it before where you're like, you send a text and somebody receives it differently than.
So you have to put a lot of emojis.
Yes,
on the end
exactly. So there's always that part of it as well, like, or just using exclamation marks unnecessarily. So I'm very much a stickler on grammar.
of it. So I'll go now.
Okay,
So I'll
all
pick
right.
one out now.
23.
We'll go a little. We'll go a little.
That seems like it's going to be very deep.
23. I got to flip the page so you know we're deeper.
Lord, give me strength.
Okay, these are just favorites, so this is not too hard. I don't.
Oh.
Hopefully. Favorite thing to do on the weekend?
Oh, I love to take my dogs for a walk. Don't tell my wife that I just said something about my dogs before her, because that's not. I was thinking like in the order
Right.
of the way. The
In the morning, take the dogs for a walk while you let your wife sleep in.
Yes,
because, you know,
and I do all the laundry.
All right, exactly.
And, clean the house. There's a little taco shop that we love that like brings like Austin, Texas style taco. This is the taco I'm holding in my hand, imaginary. And we like to go grab lunch as a family at our little taco shop. Some friends of ours started the restaurant. So we go there, and usually on the weekend it'll require some sort of random trip to the mall or Target because my daughters want something. And but those are some of my favorite activities, like when I'm off the road, because weekends home are rare. So I really try to make the most of that, like in terms of just spending time with my girls.
I want to see if this is just a me thing or if this is a guy thing. Do you ever lose your wife at Target for what seems to be hours and you can't find her?
Well, if I'm in Target for hours, we've got a problem. So, I mean, I've tried to find ways out of going to Target. You know, in that sense, if they're lost, I wouldn't even know until I get the bill. Actually, during the pandemic, it was like this incredibly long stretch of like miserable days. And things started to open back up, and I took my daughters, and I had this idea because everybody was just bummed. And I was like, that's it, I'm gonna do something crazy. I drove them to Target, and they said, what are we doing? I was like, each of you get a cart. And I was like, you each have 10 minutes to fill your cart. Like shopping spree, right? Old school style. About a minute and a half in, I realized this was a horrible idea. That 10 minutes was way too, the amount of things they were able to put in their carts in the first 2 minutes, let alone. And I shortened the time. I was like, hey, I meant to say 5 minutes, 5 minutes. The whole thing was a horrible idea. I didn't know you could spend that much money in Target, but I was trying to do something to give my kids like a positive memory. Turns out it had a reverse effect because now I have a horrible memory. My memory of that is terrible. No, but that was actually one fun time in Target because I was able to kind of bless my kiddos with something crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. You went. That wasn't very heavy, but here we go. 5.
This might actually be a little deeper. Fame or fortune?
I know this is weird because I'm a recording artist, but I never did it for fame. In fact, one time I was at your station. I was doing a concert, and one of my favorite stories to tell is a lady came up to me and she was freaking out over meeting me. Like, it was a big deal for her. This was early in my career, and she started crying and telling me how much my music had changed her life. And she went on and on and on. She's crying, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And then she goes, Chris Tomlin, could we take a picture together? And I was like, oh my goodness. And I mean, any pride that had built up in that moment of being famous was completely wiped. It was like Jenga tower down. But I do feel like, there was a really spiritual moment there that took place where I felt like God was like saying, what's going to matter more for you, that they remember your name or mine? And so fame for me has always been like, that's not my why. Fortune,
well, I think it's
feels like a no-win question.
Right.
Actually,
That's a tough one. That's kind of like would you rather question.
If anybody's out there listening to this wanting to like find a reason to judge me, they could find a reason with either one of those. Are you setting me up to get canceled?
No.
Is this whole thing a smear campaign? The Tower of Smear.
My story, your glory, out now.
He's done. He's canceled. All right, your turn.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just pick one. I'm picking the one that's easy to get out here. So we go number 10.
Okay.
Fill in the blank. I have an irrational fear of.
Well, I don't think it's irrational. I'm
Okay.
scared of sharks in the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm scared of jumping out of planes. I've done both of those things in the last 3 years, wrote about them both in my book. So I'm still scared of those things after doing it. So I guess you could say that's irrational because I've done it and survived. I swam with sharks and I survived.
On purpose.
On purpose. I got to tell you, when I was in the ocean with the sharks, there were bull sharks all around us, and we were in open water.
So were you in a cage? Were you in one of those cage things?
Well, I
or
was
you just
supposed to
open
be in a
swimming?
cage. That was the trip I booked, was a cage. And there was a cage at the back of the boat. But when we got a couple miles offshore, the captain said, the water's a little choppy and the visibility is really great. And I think you're going to have a better experience if we swim in open water today. And I was like, what are you talking about? And the thing is I've never snorkeled before either. And snorkeling with choppy water requires like an ability to know what you're doing, or else the water keeps getting in your snorkel. And so I thought it was going to be in a cage where I could come up for air. I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
And I didn't want to tell the captain, I don't know how to snorkel. It was the worst train wreck ever. But the worst part about it was my daughter was with me because this was her dream. She wanted to swim with sharks, and I had surprised her with this experience. I did not want to. I've been scared of sharks ever since I watched Jaws as a kid. But we swam in open water with these sharks and never got in the cage. And I was scared to death because I kept choking on the salt water that would get in my snorkel, and I'd have to come up for air. They said when you take your eyes off the sharks, they know that you're not looking at them, and they're more likely to come and bump you. And so every time it was either drown or choke on the salt water and keep my eyes on the sharks, or come up for air and worry that when I come back down, my kneecap's gonna be missing or something. So anyways, I survived.
Is that your closest brush with death?
That and jumping out of a plane, probably. Both of those felt very unsafe. And here I am.
By the grace of God. All right,
Here I am.
All right, go ahead and choose another block here in the Tower of Truth.
Okay.
As we seem to be going deep with these low questions, so you choose whatever. And
Well, I'm just gonna pick, that's 45 and that's too easy to pull off. Here we go, 29. That's somewhere in the middle.
it's another favorite. All right, as an artist, you travel a lot. What's your favorite meal when you're on the road?
On the road, you kind of wind up craving like comfort food too. So like the occasional stop at Cracker Barrel, or like even like a cup of soup or something in the winter months. Like it's kind of weird, but or like pizza.
Okay, so pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Well, I've never met a slice of pizza I didn't like. That's part of the problem. But I would definitely never order it. Is that your thing?
Yeah, Hawaiian, pineapple and...
That's your favorite?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
well,
Oh, yeah.
sorry we can't be friends. This was going really well. You seem like I offended you. I'm sorry. You just kind of shutting down.
No, you realize as a pineapple pizza lover that you're gonna come up against some persecution. I mean, that's just it. I mean, there's gonna be trials and tribulations.
Persecution, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
All right, now I'm gonna go for a deeper question for you. You angered the pineapple.
Oh, gee.
Go for a 41. Oh, 48.
48?
This is
How
about.
high does it go?
This is it. 48.
Oh, gee.
I gotta flip 2 pages for this. What is something you wish you could change about yourself?
Man, we're diving in. What was the last question? Was about pizza and pineapple. Oh, that's good. I will say that, like, for the Tower of Truth, if you don't have a theme song, I might have a theme song. It's called Truth Be Told.
Oh.
And so when you write a song like that, you kind of have to, like, try to live by it. So I shouldn't be scared of questions like this. There's a long list of things I would change about myself because it's taken a long time for me to get comfortable in who God made me to be. Do you know what I mean? So there's obviously, like, physical things I would change about myself. I wish I could run fast. You know what I mean? Like, my tendency just to constantly run ahead of God as opposed to, like, following his lead is something that I'm not only would I change about myself, but I am actively asking God to help change about me. Am I getting ahead of God and seeking my will for my life and then seeking his stamp of approval on my plans? Or am I, in lockstep and following his lead? I'm always, like, hustling, always working, but that can be unhealthy, right? When things go wrong, you tend to, like, I'm just gonna fix it. And it's like, man, we can't fix everything that's broken in our lives. And so coming back to a place of dependency and surrender is something that's a challenge for me.
Well, you handled that all right.
Was that good?
That was the toughest one.
Well, that was the
think.
truth.
All right.
That was the truth.
Truth be
So.
told. All right, so go ahead and pick out another one here.
Wait, that's a bad idea, isn't it? I got arrogant. I got cocky. Sorry, dude.
It's all right.
Or is that the point?
No, that's okay. At some point, it has to end. The Tower of Truth falls. Just like in our life, the tower falls and we put it back together. What's a time in your life where things fell apart and then how God put it back together?
Wow. Okay, so I see what you did there.
Right?
Yeah. I think about this every time I get on stage when my voice was taken away from me and I had to have surgery on my vocal cords. And that was a moment where it really felt like everything was falling apart because I was like, Lord, I'm serving you. I'm singing songs about you. I'm telling the world about your love through every 3-minute song I write. And now my voice is gone. And they're telling me I have to have surgery on my vocal cords. And then they're saying, even with that surgery, you may never sing again, the same way. So that was a real season of what's going to happen. And everything felt like it was falling apart. But I think the work that God did in my life during that time where my voice was taken away from me was a powerful, like, life-changing work. And I really began to lean in and better understand what it means to be still, or in my case, during those months post-surgery, be silent. And that helped me be still. And I think I've learned that, like, God will stop at nothing to do the work he needs to do in our lives to make us more like him, which also means that when our worlds fall apart, it doesn't mean he's not working. Nothing's going to be wasted. And even the times in our lives when we fall apart, to come to that greater understanding that he's the one holding us together is a powerful thing. Like, I honestly can say that I got to a place where even if my voice never came back, I had a peace. Like, if I was never able to sing or have another song on your radio station, I had peace with that. And God decided to restore my voice, and in a way that only he could. He actually brought my voice back stronger than it was before. So I'm thankful that God doesn't waste it. When our worlds fall apart, that doesn't mean that he's absent.
Matthew West, there's one final thing, because you're the first person to conquer the Tower of Truth. We're going to have you autograph block number 1.
What an honor. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Matthew West, you have conquered the Tower of Truth.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
This is fun.
Stack this back up.
Oh, he's going to feel. I can do that.